Discover the inspiring journey of a dedicated police officer and an unexpected furry friend. In the midst of a demanding 12-hour shift, fate intervenes, leading to a heartwarming chain of events that will touch your heart. Stay tuned for a story that highlights the power of compassion, resilience, and the remarkable bond between humans and animals. An unexpected encounter. Connie Johnson, the safety net manager for SPCA Florida, was about to capture a moment that would touch the hearts of millions. When Connie walked into work that day, she was confronted with an unusual sight in the waiting room, a dog peacefully asleep on a bench with a uniformed cop beside it. The photo Connie took captured a scene of unwavering dedication that would later become the epicenter of a heartwarming story, a fateful discovery. Just days prior to this encounter, Officer Kareem Garibaldi had completed an exhausting 12-hour shift. As he contemplated heading home for some well-deserved rest, fate had different plans. While bending down to retrieve his keys that he had accidentally dropped, he noticed something under his vehicle, a tiny, curled-up figure. To his astonishment, it was a puppy, cold and shivering. The realization struck him that had he not noticed the pup and driven off, tragedy could have ensued. The puppy, a mix of a boxer and a pit bull, had been wandering the streets, cold and alone. Without hesitation, Officer Garibaldi wrapped her in a blanket and took her under his wing. He decided to name her Hope. Despite his exhaustion, he knew he couldn't leave her to face the streets. He made it his mission to find her family, a determined quest. Officer Garibaldi's dedication was unwavering. He spent the next day searching for Hope's family, but with no success. Even after completing another 12-hour shift, he continued his quest. His co-workers recognized the puppy's importance and suggested he take her to the SPCA for a checkup. It was becoming clear that reuniting Hope with her family was a long shot, and he faced the difficult decision of parting ways. Hope's health was confirmed during her visit to the SPCA, where she was welcomed with warmth and care. Officer Garibaldi remained steadfast by her side throughout the tests and procedures. Between examinations, they found themselves resting on a bench in the waiting room. An exhausted officer and a contented puppy drifted off to sleep, a moment Connie Johnson captured in a heart-melting photo. Officer Garibaldi's commitment and love for Hope were undeniable. The tired cop who had just completed another all-night shift couldn't bear to leave the puppy's side, even for much-needed rest. His determination to ensure Hope's well-being showcased a bond that transcended words. He was determined to give her every ounce of comfort he could. The tests confirmed Hope's health, but they revealed no signs of a family or a microchip. This left Officer Garibaldi facing the reality that he couldn't keep the puppy. Though practicality suggested leaving the puppy at the shelter, he couldn't fathom the idea of her being alone. Both of them went home for a nap before his next shift, their shared journey becoming more intertwined with each passing moment. A resilient spirit finds home. As the days unfolded, a new chapter of Hope's life began to take shape. Next day, in the morning after finishing his work shift, the police officer went to the communication office to collect the puppy. Upon entering, he found the puppy comfortably asleep on the lap of one of the dispatchers. It appeared that the two had formed a strong connection since the officer's first day on duty. The dispatcher had been looking after the puppy while the officer was working, and they had developed a close bond. Now, it was time to acknowledge the reality that the puppy, named Hope, had finally found her forever family. The dispatcher and her family were filled with happiness as they welcomed Hope into their home. This heartwarming conclusion marked the end of Hope's journey, and what made it even more special was that she would continue to see her best friend, Officer Garibaldi, regularly. The heartwarming story of Officer Garibaldi and Hope illustrates the profound impact that individuals can have on the lives of animals in need. This was the ideal conclusion to this touching tale.